like with by ourselves, we can't do a lot. With ourselves and God, we can do a lot of things. With ourselves and God and money, we can do anything. And it's a good quote for fundraising, but I really believe it.
Welcome, Team OLA. I am here with April Pickett, and she is a three-time OLA marathoner, and I'm here with Bella. She's here as our audience today. Welcome, April.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, April, tell us about your relationship with OLA and how you've gotten involved with it.
Sure. So actually, it kind of goes back a while. I used to run different youth clubs and I helped run these missions. So I brought a group of kids a long time ago, I don't even know when, years ago, to go to a mission OLA, and we did some gardening there and we cleaned the church. And I remember meeting the sisters for the first time and just thinking that they were really cool and so down to earth. And I loved that their mission was right there in West Humboldt Park. I just thought it was an amazing ministry. I was actually living in Michigan at the time. I'm from Chicago, but was living there for 6 years doing this work. So when I came back to Chicago 3 years ago, I remembered the mission and I wanted to get involved again. So I came back and I started volunteering, especially on the Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, those big pantries. So started doing that as much as I could. So that's my background a little bit with the mission.
Okay, so you were at the mission today, actually.
Yes, we got a little wet, but yeah, it was a good day at the mission.
What have you seen, because you've been in and out of the mission during COVID as well, during this time, what have you seen in the changes and things like that?
With COVID, well, I've seen it definitely more busy, that's for sure, and seeing the need. It's made me more aware of the need, especially in the different neighborhoods in Chicago that we know are suffering more and have been really impacted between COVID and between everything else that's been going on. So I've just seen, things really getting busy over there. And the other difference I noticed was not so much anymore, but especially during COVID, just how obviously we had to be more careful with volunteers and the amount of people and all of that. So it just seemed like a lot more work with less hands. So I was very impressed to see how everyone stepped up, all the sisters, and really continued to serve the community, and probably the time that the community really needed it the most. It's just crazy, especially, seeing the looting and stuff, and in that neighborhood really suffered a lot. And to see that they have this place that the neighbors can go to, and they know that it's going to be there where they can get their food and all of that. It's really impressive to see what the mission has done during this time.
So it leads us to the fact that one of the reasons that we're running is obviously to raise money for the mission.
Yes.
And you happen to have a background in fundraising as well. So as you look at what needs to be accomplished and the money that's being raised, and Sister Stephanie obviously has done some amazing things with her own running. How do you see fundraising at this time, and how are you doing against how are you approaching it?
So it's a very interesting time for fundraising. Like you mentioned, my background is in fundraising, and I actually took a new job as a fundraiser during COVID. At the end of May, I started a new job as a development director of a nonprofit. So it's a challenging time, and I realized that going into the fundraising world in a different role recently. And people, you think like, well, it's a hard time economically. There's a lot of people that have lost their jobs. The stock market has its ups and its downs. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of shifted gears and is almost too scared to ask for money right now because of all these things. But I think it's probably the most important time to be asking for money. And I know that most people want to do something to help the situation, right? Like we see what's going on with COVID, we see what's going on in the neighborhoods in Chicago, and I feel myself like I've felt helpless at times, just feeling like, well, I'm here in my apartment, I have all the food I need, I have all the toilet paper I need, like I'm not suffering, but I know that there are people that are. And I think especially because of COVID, we all kind of just stuck to ourselves, which is normal, and we all had the stay-at-home order, so that was a normal response. But at the same time, like I think we always need to be looking outside of ourselves and seeing like there's people that are really suffering, and they don't have the resources that we have. So it's the most important time, I think, to step up and to look outside of ourselves and to look at our community and to raise some money, because with money we can do a lot of great things. I always quote this quote for my job, and I say it's Mother Teresa, but I probably made it up. But it's like with by ourselves we can't do a lot. With ourselves and God, we can do a lot of things. With ourselves and God and money, we can do anything. And it's a good quote for fundraising, but I really believe it. And the thing is the money's out there. There's people that have the means that want to help, whether it's big or small, but there's money out there. And I think Sister Stephanie's marathon on the treadmill really showed that out of nowhere came $130,000. So there really is money out there. And I think people are looking for an opportunity to give. So I think now, especially now that we're out of, the harder times of the stay-at-home order, and that it's a great time to just be presenting what the mission is doing and to show people like they have tripled the amount of families that they've been feeding in this time. So if you want to do something to help the COVID situation, if you want to do something to help our neighbors in Chicago, and I think we're probably, the city that's been suffering one of the most in the whole United States, then this is a great way to do it. So support me while I run my marathon. And it's just the invitation to put it out there. And again, there's a lot of generosity out there. There's a lot of means out there, but it's just about giving people the opportunity and showing them this is a great opportunity to be generous and to give, and people will do it. That's for sure.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent advice, because it is kind of a difficult, people are torn about how to ask.
Yeah, and that's super understandable, but I think presenting it as this is a great opportunity to help this situation and put it that way, and people will donate, that's for sure, whether it's a little bit or a lot. But I think these times also make you grateful for what you have, and it shows those of us that were blessed enough to keep our jobs, or those of us that we don't have to worry about putting food on the table. I think, at least for me, it's made me count my blessings a lot more and seeing how can I be generous to people right now and step it up a little bit with my own generosity.
So we have the October 10th marathon. You do live in Chicago area.
Yes.
So what are your plans and how does that fit in?
Well, I really wanted to run the marathon with all of the rest of the team that could do it on October 10th, but unfortunately I have a work event that whole weekend that I just found out about. So I'm not going to be able to run it that day, but I am committed to still run it by myself that week. I signed up for the virtual to give myself an extra motivation. I know that t-shirt and the medal's in the mail, so I'm like, I have to earn this. I have to run the 26.2 miles. I can't just have the medal hanging on the wall. So I'm going to run it that week. I'm committed to still be united to all of Team OLA, and I just see it as I made a commitment. I made a commitment to the mission. I made a commitment to myself to run the 26.2 miles, and I don't want to let an obstacle or an excuse get in the way. That I want to see my commitment out and run this for the mission, for everyone that the mission helps, and for the sisters, and to raise the money that's really needed. I think a lot of, like we mentioned, a lot of nonprofits are suffering. A lot of fundraisers aren't happening. So this still needs to go on. It's just crazy the amount of funds the marathon raises every year for different nonprofits. It's amazing the thousands of dollars that that many nonprofits benefit from. So that money still needs to come to these nonprofits. So that's why I'm going to do it this year. And then I'm also deferred for next year. So I'll also be there for next year as well. So
excellent. So you've had some setbacks on your training.
Yes.
So what's your goal this year?
My goal is just to finish the 26.2. So this will be my 4th marathon in general. And every year I've been able to cut off time. I'm getting quicker and quicker. And I'm just very competitive with myself and with sports. So I really wanted to keep cutting my time down and shave off a good 10 minutes, which is the average of what I've been shaving off. But I sprained my ankle 2 times now during this training, and I pulled the quad muscle. So I think it was God's way of telling me, just take it easy. I don't have to set a record. I'm not going to have a crowd of 5,000 people cheering me on. It's just me, myself, and I. So I'm going to take it nice and easy. My goal is to finish 26.2 miles, however long it takes me in one time, but that's my goal. So I've adjusted my expectations, and I'm just going to take this year easy, and then next year I'll go hard again and see if I can shave off some time. So
well, that's excellent. You'll have to let us know when you're running so we can at least be doing some Hail Marys for you and thinking of you.
I will.
as well. We'll miss you out in Bartlett, but we will be excited to hear about your time and to hear how you finish. So thank you for all you do for Ola. I see you out there many weekends and many weeks. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a great organization to be part of. I'm glad that I know the sisters and I know the community. What the work they're doing is so beautiful and so needed. And I think it's the work of the gospel. It's the work of Christ. Like I think many times we can all be about like words or whatever, but there you see it. You see it in action. You see the true love, the true mercy, the true compassion that happens like in the streets just not too far away that people don't even realize, that this is going on in our city. And I think it's just incredible. So it's been a huge blessing for me to be part of it. And I think anyone that's been involved is lucky to know this group of sisters and this great mission that's happening in our city. So.
Well, good luck, April.
Thank you so much.